Howdy everybody, this is a roaming prepper and I hope you're all doing well. I'm off work and taking a little my personal time to chit chat with you guys. Today I want to cover something that was done in Europe against Russia to support Ukraine that has caused a bit of concern, and I actually think it's a big nothing burger. It's just poo. But let's talk about it and I'll explain why I think it's poo here in a minute. I'll be right back and let's talk about what the Europeans did. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining me again. I'm still in traffic, as you can see, and somebody's playing really loud Tejano music next to me, which actually is a pretty fun tune from what it sounds like. Anyway, what am I talking about? What did the Europeans do? So the ICC, or an International Criminal Court, has recently decided that they were going to put a warrant out on Russian President Vladimir Putin for war crimes. They were doing this specifically citing the certain reported incidents of civilians being executed or tortured. But also they're pointing out that they have very specific and what they say is credible information that the Russians have been taking Ukrainian children either from orphanages or found in the battlefield, separated from the parents, and relocating them to Russia, where they're putting them through a Russian education school, basically teaching them to be little Russians, and then they're adopting them out to Russian families who are willing to take them. Now, this kind of smacks a lot of what the Nazis did during World War II. They found Aryan children, and or Aryan-looking children per Hitler's guidelines, and then took them and adopted them into They took them to Germany, brought them through Hitler youth camps, and then adopted them into German families and made them little Germans, culturally speaking anyway. That's basically what they're accusing Putin of doing. Honestly, it's been in the news. People have been reporting, oh no, well, this is going to escalate. The Russians seemed absolutely unimpressed with this. They think it's a bunch of bullshit. And actually, one of the Russian defense ministers said, well, we're not treaty members to the ICC court, so the ICC court can bite my butt. And he didn't use those words exactly, but that was the sentiment. And he said, as a matter of fact, if they continue to start crap, how about we take one of our submarines that are right now in the North Sea, not very far from the Netherlands, and hit that damn court with a hypersonic missile, because technically the grounds the court is on is international territory, kind of like the UN. You know, the UN is an international space, but it happens to be in New York City. The court is international space in the Netherlands. So they're like, we can just go hypersonic the court, and we'll blow up the court, and all the judges can bite me, which I actually thought was a really hilarious response to the court basically putting out a warrant for a sitting president of a major power. Now, I will say this is the first time, according to these reports, that a sitting president of one of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council has been put under a warrant by the criminal court. But again, since Russia does not acknowledge the criminal court, they are not treaty members, and they will not extradite a national to an international trial without blessings from both the leadership and the Duma, or the Congress of Russia. They are basically to you. So what does this mean? Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, it means diddly squat to us. It's a lot of puffery. If anything, what it's going to do is dig in and make the Russians even more pissed off. Friends and family I know who have other friends and family in Russia have spoken to them and said the Russians are really pissed off. Like, we're hearing, oh, the Russians are protesting. Some are, yes, and some people are protesting here. The Russians are pissed. The Russians are pissed at the West. They're pissed at NATO because they think we're fucking with their culture and we're trying to destroy them. So Russia's in this for the long haul. Russia is in this to go kick Ukraine's ass in one way, shape, or form. Really, this whole warrant thing is a bunch of blah. It means nothing to Russia. Like I said, one of the deputy ministers of defense is like, how about we just, you keep giving out warrants, how about we just rocket the court, which is technically international space, and oops, now there's no more court, and bite me. Will this affect our supply chain? Probably not. Will it affect the stock market? Maybe, because people may freak out a little bit when hearing this. In reality, this is political puffery. I don't think it's going to amount to much of anything. I think, if anything, it's just going to make Russia and its allies more dedicated. Because now you've given them a little piece of paper for them to go and say, hey, look, see what they're doing? They're put out a warrant for our leader, and he didn't even get a hearing or a trial. They're all full of shit. And it's just going to make the Russian people more dug in, and their allies more dug in. So, although Ukraine is bragging and excited about, it's supportive of them, and yes, it is, it means very little on the ground to us. So, folks, this one I think is a big nothing burger. I think this is just a bunch of blah. Now, more concerning to me is Poland's recent statement, which I may have to go in another video, on what their position is as things are starting to progress in the Ukraine. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as I've said in a prior video, Russia has not gotten in a war in the last 300 years that lasted less than 5 years. One lasted 20 years, and they won. They won the other ones, actually, too. So, with the exception of a conflict they had with Japan, which was at the tail end of one of the World War I believe, and they had just been discombobulated. They pretty much, when they get into a war, they're in it for years, not months or days. So we're not seeing, the war ain't going to go away because they put out this warrant. So again, prepping 101. Inflation's going to affect, the war is going to continue to affect the supply chain in general. We've already beaten this horse to death. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to be calm about it. Continue to budget intelligently. Continue to pay down debt. And I wouldn't sweat too much about the stupid international court or stupid Putin or any other idiot over there, because right now the paper's worthless. Putin's going to go down swinging, and all they've done is give him more ammunition to go to his friends and go, look what they did to me. See how unfair they are? And it's just going to make it worse. So I think they've accomplished very little of anything. So folks, relax on this one. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. But in any case, if I don't get to premiere or I miss my own premiere, feel free to put your comments in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like to share, that's very cool too. Really, this international court, if they get their hands on Putin, maybe. But I don't think that's going to happen. So anyway, guys, God bless, Godspeed. Don't freak out over news like this. It's political puffery at its finest. If anything, it's a great lesson on bread and circuses, right? So you guys be good, and I will talk to you all on the next video. Take care and be safe out there.